Quickly find it.
Kylie Jenner's net worth, or what you were talking
No,
about?
Kylie Jenner's net worth.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Welcome back to the 5th episode of the Outspoken show.
Yep.
Luke just got back from Cuba.
No, I'm going to Mykonos. I'm going to Mykonos.
Sorry.
After this, that's where I got the hat.
He's ready.
Things buttoning up.
Duffel bags under the desk.
Jeez.
I've already checked in on the Jetstar app. There's a lot going
check
on.
out.
Yeah,
I'd check out if I were you. Yeah.
No, I'm checking in. Anyway,
I'm checking out.
I went to the Gold Coast on the weekend. I got a parking ticket.
Yes.
I hate the Gold. Well, I love the Gold Coast, but I go to the meter. You pay. It's a 3-hour meter. Fill it up for 3 hours.
Yeah.
Go on for 4. Get back, and I thought it was good. Thought the dash was good. I see the ticket. Oh, my fuck's sake! I was actually happy with the amount on the ticket. From all the parking tickets I've got, I'm usually getting bashed. It was only an $80 ticket.
Only?
It wasn't that bad.
Only?
I had a $270 ticket in New South Wales end of last year.
That's ridiculous.
80. I'm happy with 80.
$80? How long were you over? Barely?
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
It wasn't long. I think it was maybe 20 minutes before I got to the car. Did the ticket person get me? But $80, I was happy with that.
See,
Yeah, you always see in the movies like the people they're running down the street.
Yeah.
They
I
get
even saw a parking inspector that day too. I'm like,
they're like, stop, I'm leaving now. It's like, yeah, $400 ticket. Boom.
I had a friend in the car and I said like, when you go to dinner parties, what do you tell people you do? Is it you ruin people's days?
Yeah, I go around just fucking people's lives.
Like I am the pain in your ass.
Yeah, that's...
sounds like you don't mind that. $80. See,
I was happy, but
we're on opposite ends of this, mate. I went to Byron Bay one time in my life. Every single place you go there, you got to pay. You got to pay to park at every little
anti-Byron.
spot. I became anti-Byron that weekend. I was over by a minute. I was walking to the car. I saw them give me the ticket.
You were literally the guy...
Did you negotiate?
I did. No, they were walking away. Away. I was fuming. I never go to Byron Bay again.
Nah.
No, nice. Not nice enough for a ticket.
It's not that good.
If you get
The whole of northern New South Wales is like it.
if you get like a little cabin, because we stayed in this little cabin in the woods, kind of scenic. Okay, that's pretty cool. It's better than what you can get in Gold Coast. Like if you don't want to just look at the beach,
You should get an actual cigar.
probably get
This is
probably
a
get some
Cuban,
things,
bro. Wrong end, actually.
some similar things to that in Byron Bay. I would suggest.
Yeah, no, there's so many nice places out there you don't have to go to.
Yeah, I will never go there again. I'm writing it off. But it was an $80 parking ticket, and I was fuming. $80.
Yeah, I'd be frustrated.
Jeez.
Do you smoke? Have you ever smoked?
No.
Have you ever smoked?
Nah.
I used to be a big smoker.
Really?
Yeah, when I was overseas, I used to be a big smoker.
Just
Bad.
what?
Ciggies?
Cigarettes, cigars, anything. Yeah. Not drugs.
You had a Cuban before?
Not a Cuban.
Do you want to puff or do you relapse?
No, I won't. I better not.
I reckon we should do a
We
night
could
where
have
we
a
get
s-
cigars, get a bit of scotch.
Dude, I'd
That'd be
Not
good
opposed
fun.
to trying.
get drunk, smoke cigars. We could do this before the marathon.
Oh, can we do
The
it?
night before.
Can we do it after the marathon?
We can do
maybe.
it-
We could do it after.
Yeah.
Not
Like-
ideal recovery, but we can while we're in the ice bath
Should do, yeah.
and scotch.
As soon as we
Relaxing.
cross the line, just light one up and just cough your lungs out in the
Oh,
finish line.
That would
Just-
get ugly.
that would
get
look
ugly.
really bad.
Well,
I got a question for you guys. I was listening to the radio.
Sure.
COVID vaccine, it's rolling out in Australia.
You were saying
I don't-
like early on in the podcast that you don't bloody listen to the news.
No, I don't. It's true.
he doesn't
But you
take it
just heard
seriously,
it.
but he'll hear it. He'll overhear. I guess.
Sure. Okay.
Well, no, because I was driving mum's car
Okay.
and the radio was playing, and I had my music going as well, but I could still actually hear the radio.
Yep.
And I was saying the biggest issue with the vaccine is not the vaccine, but the confidence in the vaccine.
Well, yeah.
And that made sense. I don't have confidence in it.
Nor do I. I mean, you can't expect to create something so complex in a short amount of time and hope that it's going to work. I mean,
It could happen though. I don't know
It-
enough
it could
about.
do.
I'm taking my fucking hat off. I'm not in Cuba yet.
Mykonos.
Sorry,
Yeah, you forgot already. Jesus.
it's the cigar. That's
But no, what they do, they got the vaccine in a year. When usually it takes 5 years or something like that.
well, you got to go through
that's
trial
rough?
periods
Yeah.
as well. There's a lot of little hurdles that you got to go through. It's really complex shit. Like you can't just expect that you're going to create some serum, pump it into the human body, which is one of the most complex elements of our lives that we know and just expect,
Yeah.
she'll be right.
But is there that much bad with this one? Like the ones that we're getting over here, at least?
Yeah.
Well, we've still got the AstraZeneca one, which is the one
AstraZeneca.
Zeneca, which is the one they're skeptical about because of blood clots. But I don't think it's that bad. I think there's, I think it was 7 cases.
7
Which-
cases.
Yeah, but there was worldwide, when you compare like blood clots in comparison to other post-injection phenomenon, it's really not that big a deal. I don't know the numbers. I'm sure we could find them. It wouldn't be difficult, but I heard that it wasn't really that big a deal in terms of.
Wait, did you want me to look something up?
We can do if we want to tell the audience exactly what it is, but I don't think the blood clot's that big a deal.
We got bashed for not looking up Kylie Jenner's net
Yeah.
worth. We
Quickly
said
find it.
Kylie Jenner's net worth, or what you were talking
No,
about.
Kylie Jenner's net worth.
Okay, we can
Major
correct.
feedback was people are still waiting to hear if she's a billionaire or not.
They want us to quote stuff during podcasts,
Well,
make sure it's accurate.
I think when Luke said, "I'll look it up,"
And then they
looked
didn't.
at the laptop and didn't do anything.
Luke just went.
See, he figured it out. He's worked it out. Much improvement. There goes the desk. But yeah, come on.
What does Forbes say?
So Forbes is saying Kylie Jenner is no longer a billionaire.
Yes.
So
Told you.
you're correct.
Validated.
They reported claims about her wealth and her company that Kylie Cosmetics, they were exaggerated. She's apparently worth just under 900 million.
Oh,
Poor thing.
Just under 900
Poor thing.
million. Meh.
she couldn't.
Imagine not hitting a billion at
Dude,
like
I wouldn't
22.
give
Like,
it- oh.
like, do you deserve to be
Lazy
even
son of a
recognized?
bitch.
Like
Lazy.
she definitely couldn't buy a European football team.
Yeah.
True.
Definitely couldn't buy
I think she's had too much avocado, eggs, and coffee.
You reckon
I think
she's-
that's what it is. I think
Too many packets of law.
that's why she can't buy a house. $1 billion house.
Hey, that's ridiculous. Though.
the-
Like, that's a lot of money to have at such a young age. Like, what the hell do you do with
How
it all?
old is she? Look it up.
I think she's
Look it up,
22.
Jamie.
I'll look it up. Look it up, Jamie.
Look that shit up. Look that shit up.
22, Jesus.
That's a lot of
Christ.
money.
That's too much money for that age.
What would you do if you had that much money?
I have no idea.
23.
I have
She's 23.
no idea
10th
what I
of-
would do.
She's born a day after me. I mean, we got something in common.
That's
We're
faded.
both Leos.
You have a chance.
We're both Leos.
Do you play basketball?
I don't.
Nah.
Do I still have a chance?
I
I'm
could have
over
the wrong.
6
I
foot.
could have the wrong.
No, right one.
Yeah.
I don't have much of a chance. I
You
think
want
she's
Devin Booker.
dating. Yeah, Devin Booker.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I'd take you over.
He's got a.
Don't worry.
He earns more than I do. I'm not insecure about what I earn, but he earns more than I do. A lot more.
Could be a nicer guy too. We don't
Could
know.
be too. I've never met him.
Yeah.
Um,
On a lighter topic, how about the European Super League, guys?
Oh,
I don't know what's going on.
You don't know?
It's a
No, I got
mess.
no idea.
Shambles.
What has happened?
So,
I'll let you cover it. Because,
well, from what we understand at the moment,
yeah.
12 to 15 of the top English clubs in European football have decided they're going to go in and create this European Super League.
And they've just shit the bed.
So the response has been poor.
Oh,
But
it's terrible.
The format of the tournament is there'll be 15 foundational clubs. So the 12 clubs that have been announced, 6 from England. So Arsenal, Chelsea, Manchester United, Manchester City, Liverpool, and Tottenham.
Yeah.
Is that all the big dogs?
That's all.
From the
That's
EPL.
essentially all the traditional. Or
What about
new
Spurs?
top
What about
six. That is
Spurs?
Tottenham are Spurs, so they're part of it. And then the 3 biggest in Spain, essentially Barcelona,
Yeah.
Real Madrid, Valencia, and 3 of the biggest ones in Italy, Juventus, AC, and Inter Milan. And the other 3 who were suspected to be the other 3 to make up the 15 were Borussia Dortmund in Germany, Bayern Munich in Germany, and Paris Saint-Germain.
Yeah.
So they're all
all-
the biggest clubs in Europe. Literally the only ones that have any chance of winning
I
anything
don't
in
count
Europe.
Spurs as big.
Oh,
They
yeah,
always
of
want to
course,
be
but
a
they're-
part of it. They're always like, yeah, please include me.
But
Please
they're
include me.
new wealth.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
wealthy now. So
Sure.
that
Do they get invited?
these are the founding clubs. So all of these chairmen have obviously, all the people at the top of these clubs
Yeah.
have gotten together, put this idea in place.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I puffed in from the
Yeah,
wrong
you're
end.
puffing, mate. Oh,
This fucking cigar.
So to put
It's
this-
hand rolled.
No, yeah,
it was
they-
rolled this afternoon. I saw Jacob.
yeah.
Shout out Jacob. Roll it.
Long story short,
is great cardboard.
the
I
club's
don't
chairman,
wanna
they
interrupt.
decide to all come together and build this Super League. But
So 12 to 15 clubs.
It's going to be
champions
20,
have
so it's
come
going to
together.
take on like an NFL for NBA like type format where it's going to be 2 in the group of 20 teams. There'll be one side that has 10 teams in terms of one side of
Like
the
a
league.
conference.
Yeah, so like the conferences in the NFL. The other side has 10 teams. They compete. The top 3 go to the quarterfinals, and the 4th and 5th place go to a playoff.
Yeah.
And they go in that way. So it's going to be 2 games, home and away, versus each team. This was what they proposed. But before all the backlash, this is what it seemed like was definitely going to happen. And it was going to be a midweek thing. So the plan was not to disrupt the country's like national leagues. So like the English Premier League, the French League, Bundesliga and all that. But it was going to disrupt the UEFA Champions League, which essentially meant they weren't going to be part of the Champions League anymore, which is the biggest European club football competition to this point. It has the best music in world sports. The best opening music in world sports. But the uproar I've seen from this
there's some
is
gnarly
insane.
stuff.
Watch your hand.
Insane.
I'm the hand.
He is. No,
Person.
there was heaps of things online saying, like Liverpool fans, I'm a massive Liverpool fan myself. There was big banners put up at Anfield basically saying Liverpool RIP.
Yeah.
You sold us tickets, then you sold our souls.
Why do they care? Because aren't they going to be playing more if they're playing during the week and on the weekends?
The amount of
for the
fixtures
club?
won't, because they already play a lot with the Champions League format that's there. It's not going to be that drastic a difference in terms of how many games they're playing. I think the idea was this to be hosted in America too. So like 100,000 seat stadium. So it'd be more travel, and harder for fans to go watch, which I think was part of the outroar.
But the thing is as well, this isn't... It's not keeping to where the clubs originally were heading towards. Like, it's not conservative. It's very, like, out there. And so a lot of the fans are just losing their shit over it. They're just not happy.
Do they want to maintain a
They will
traditional...
maintain.
Yeah.
I personally do not think it is as dramatic and terrible as lots of fans seem to be going at it.
Dinner's ready. I'm just going to turn the oven off.
Yeah, go for it.
I think one of the problems as well, and I think this is maybe where a lot of the backlash comes from, is that the big clubs, all they did was they decided within themselves that they were going to organise this. They never once mentioned to the general public, to all the fans who make this sport as amazing as it is, they never said, oh, what do you guys think about it? All the fans would turn around and say, yep, nah. But they just did it themselves and then decide, yeah, fuck you guys, we'll just do it anyway.
Yeah, I can understand the perspective of the fans.
Yeah, they're pissed off.
I don't understand why they're so pissed off, though.
Why the fans are pissed off?
Because it's against all the tradition of what it is to be a football fan. They're
What
like,
the
the
clubs
European
are all
Champions
about.
League is massive. And why the fans are upset is because FIFA, the head of football in the world, and UEFA, the head, like essentially these are the governing bodies, the head of the European football, have come out saying anyone who participates, any player or club who participates in this, they will be banned. Because this is where I have a problem
Banned
with
from
it.
FIFA.
Banned from like
From playing the
World
World
Cups, Euros, like all these national competitions essentially.
Players won't be able to
Yeah.
participate. Like, you're just going to be cut out of world football altogether.
So by cutting those players out, doesn't that mean the FIFA World Cup becomes worse? If
Yes.
Neymar, who plays for PSG, this is my soccer knowledge, won't be there. If
Yeah, all
Messi
these
from
people are
Barca
gone.
won't be
Yep.
there. If Ronaldo from... Is he Juventus?
Ronaldo's at Juventus now. Yeah.
If he won't be there as well, because all those clubs...
Yeah, and this is where I have a problem with it, because I don't like FIFA and UEFA being like the arbitrators of this is tradition, this is football.
Yeah, but you know why they've done that, though, is because, like I said just before, all these chairmen did was decide within themselves, yeah, let's fucking do it. And they never once mentioned to the rest of us, hey, this is what we're thinking. Because FIFA and UEFA, like, the whole point of having them in power is that they turn around and go, oh, well, this is a load of bullshit, or wow, that's a really great idea, let's support you. Without consulting with them first, we're not building trust, we're not building good relationships in the football world, and especially when there's so much money revolving around it. I bet people are going to get butthurt over it. And so, yeah, I mean, FIFA
I still
basically...
don't understand why people are butthurt.
I'm saying FIFA will be butthurt because,
they've just lost everyone.
Well, no one's mentioned this to them, and all the chairmen of these big...
They've been excluded.
Yeah, and
a new party's been created, and they haven't been invited for dinner.
Literally.
But I think this is what like a organizational, like FIFA, like They need a reality check because they are like they're not these like amazing people who keep
They're
football.
corrupt.
They're as corrupt as they come. Like the amount of money countries bidding for World Cups have to pay just to have a chance.
Do you know?
I don't know exact numbers. Like I don't know exact, but these like speculations
Look
come
that
out
up, Jamie.
that like Australia, even when we bid, we had to pay a consultant who could just get us in the door to have a chance to get a bid.
And our
like these
bid-
kind of crap.
Our bid was massive, and then we lost out to United Arab Emirates.
What was it, Qatar? One of them.
That's it, Qatar. They beat us because they actually bid afterwards.
Yeah.
So we had the winning bid. Then they came in and swept the stage last moment with just this massive, ludicrous amount of money.
Yeah.
And so FIFA's as corrupt as they come. But the problem is that because of the power they wield and because of the money they wield, they've just turned around and said, all right, if you don't want to consult with us first, fuck you. We're just going to ban you from every world stage possible.
I don't think they have the power to do that, though. I think the leverage, by allowing these like billionaires, not nationals to the countries, the leagues they're buying from, these billionaires to come in and buy up all these clubs, they didn't think sometime in the future, they might have a better idea in their head of what they're going to do with their money.
Yeah.
They're going to do what's going to get them the most money. And in terms of like, I think FIFA and UEFA are just angry that they've been left out.
I think so, yeah.
That's all it is. I don't think they have the leverage.
Just
I don't
like
think they can
devil's
stop it.
advocate, should they be consulted on this?
Some people might say yes because the whole point
Because
of having
it sounds
them there,
like it involves them.
It
sounds
just
like
it
involves
means
them.
these big clubs are no longer going to participate in their big competition in terms of the Champions League. So
which is a massive money
yeah,
draw.
FIFA and UEFA, like they're closely linked in terms of like similar, like
They've got the same mindset
Yeah,
and they've got this.
yeah.
They've got the same interests. I mean,
And that's
long
why the
story
World Cup
short,
is
when these you could say they're companies, when these leagues are formed, like especially the Super League, and all these clubs decide, well, we're going to participate in that over things like Champions League. Well, then Champions League just lost millions
All true.
worth of viewers, money, players, and the Champions League, as we were saying, is literally one of the greatest sporting events in the world. So
it's a big, but
kicking the balls.
I think they've already let it get to a point though where, because part of the uproar is the romance of football in terms of a little club can come up and win these leagues or win these Champions Leagues. But I think as we go, with the amount of money that these big clubs, regardless of the Super League, have at the top, there's no little club's going to come up and make their money.
Leicester did it, didn't they?
Leicester
That was somewhat.
did,
Was that somewhat
but
recent?
they weren't a poor club at the time. They had a lot of money themselves, but they were definitely a surprise. They're not one of these multi-billionaire or like buying up everyone. But I don't know how many of them are going to happen in the future. Like I don't see
that's
it having that big an impact on who's
going to be harder and harder.
These 15 clubs that we've mentioned there, they're the ones who are going to win the Champions League every year for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, but they've got the resources as well to dedicate to their teams, to the science behind the sport. And so, of course, they're going to win. They're going to recover better and so on and so forth, train better.
Does by moving the best teams, the top 15 teams, to a different league, create room for other clubs like Leicester or more small
Definitely
clubs to
would.
develop and level up their skills?
This is
and
literally
resources?
where I was going to go. This is where I was going to actually tie in and say that I sort of agree with the concept that this actually might not be as bad as everyone thinks it is. We're just creating another tier to the pyramid. I mean, we're just saying that if you want to aspire to be like Juve and stuff, you've just got to go a little bit higher. And like you said, we're just getting a new viewership open. There's plenty of viewing rights there for everyone underneath these big clubs. Why not utilize that and get some of these small clubs a little bit more money, get the sport growing?
Yeah.
That's my take on it.
Will it still get many fans going to the game if they're in America?
It sounds like if it's in America,
there-
it'll get a lot of American fans, but I'm
but
imagining
they
a
don't-
lot of people.
Do they give a fuck about the club?
No.
Are they diehards?
No,
Are they
no.
bleeding
As much as
red for
maybe
Manchester?
as much as there are
Manchester United?
Australian fans who are that into these European clubs, like there'll be that kind of.
Yeah, well,
Fans
why would you move the sport away from all of its diehard fans?
That's
It
the
makes no
part I
sense.
don't like.
This
the
is
most,
literally
yeah.
what we were
That's
talking
the
about
part.
the other day, which is it's better to have your diehards than to have some, fakes.
Yeah.
And why would you move it to America? Okay, there might be more money, but there also might be a lot of fakes who aren't going to come actually watch the games.
Yeah.
And if they want to watch, they can just sit at home watching on their big plasmas. Whereas here, or in the UK even, or in European leagues, people will fly across countries to go see games. They'll catch trains. They'll make it happen so they can get there. I don't know why you'd move. It makes no sense.
But I love the idea of like the 15 to 20 best clubs in the world being in a league together.
Yeah.
Just like even if it's once every like 10 years, if that kind of thing occurred.
That's awesome.
I would love that idea. Every FIFA I got, I would literally do it on career mode. I would put all the best teams in one league, see how it went. Like, just
Do you know what's really cool
that
about
idea
that?
I do like.
The amount of bragging, right, that comes to supporters is just massive.
Yeah.
And I think it's actually really healthy for the game, because we're not talking about, 2, 3, 4 winners. There is literally, you can only have one team that wins tournaments. Why not just make them on a pedestal that's so far up it's hard to see? And the Super League does that. It makes it so that, sure, you've got these 5 qualifiers who can come in. Maybe Leicester has a year where they just go gangbusters. And they start climbing. Sure, they can qualify. They can be a part of all this. But the cool thing is that these podium teams, they've year after year after year, or even if you say maybe every 2 years, every 4 years, they've got a chance to be the bee's knees.
Yeah.
I think it's cool.
Yeah.
I wonder, is this only happening because soccer's at such a big level, like globally? It's so big.
I think so.
In every other country. So it's big all over Europe. It's pretty big in Australia, but obviously not.
We
We
just
don't have the
money yet,
level.
yeah.
But you look at other sports, they could never do anything like this where you're grabbing teams from each league in a different country and pulling them together. Even basketball, a big sport, isn't big enough in that many other countries. It's big in Australia, but we're still shit.
Parts of Europe
It's a
is
little
decent,
bit big
but
in Europe,
yeah.
but is that something that might happen in 30, 40 years' time with another sport where it does grow to that point?
It will only happen if, again, what Dino said before, he mentioned that multiple wealthy businessmen and women, they're buying into these clubs, and they're not necessarily nationals. They're from any part of the world, and they contribute their money. If you allow that to happen in a sport like NFL, basketball, baseball, sure, that will happen. In my opinion, baseball is the next best thing. You've got Japanese love it.
That's true.
Chinese love it. Koreans, they're diehard fans. The Americans are going gangbusters for it. If you enabled that same sort of money power in that sport, then you'd have a really similar thing occur, which is that rather than having just like an American league, Japanese league, so on and so forth, you would have a super league for your baseball.
Yeah.
And it would be really, really awesome to see that, especially across these major sports, because it brings massive amount of money, massive viewership, and all it does is it's leveraging the power that they've already got, and it just grows the sports.
Yeah.
Are there any other team sports that are big enough for something like this to happen?
Rugby union.
Rugby union's got a Super League.
Yeah.
They call it the
League
Super
in
League.
Australia.
Yeah, no, they've
South
got-
Africa,
they've got-
New
yeah.
Zealand, Australia.
It
aren't
can
they?
grow is what
Oh,
I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
wow.
there's heaps
Cricket's
of...
huge in some parts of the world too.
True. Yeah.
That would
Australia, India.
definitely be a sport that can do it. The only problem is that you've got contenders like baseball, which take up the American population. If they didn't have that, then sure you'd have an option. But we've now only got a handful of countries worldwide.
And I'd say the issue with cricket is you need, I guess the reason why it can happen with soccer is because you've got American money that's coming in.
Not even American. You've got like oil money. You've got
literally.
real. These
But-
are half these clubs, or 3 or 4 of them.
But I guess to say, okay, you're all from different countries, but you're going to be playing in this country, in America, if that's the case, which I think is crazy. But cricket, you've got India, you've got South America, you've got so many different continents. Is it possible to bring it all together? I don't know, because England, Europe, New Zealand,
I don't
Australia,
know.
Do you
South
mean for
Africa.
cricket?
Yeah, you've got India.
Yeah, definitely.
These
These
it's
tours,
very worldwide. I didn't think of that.
Rugby Union does a really awesome job of it. They've got the Lions tour. It's basically an Ireland, Wales, and English side, and Scottish, that joins together. And what they do is they come and travel throughout the world. So they go to SA, then they go to Oz, then they go to NZ, and they just continue around. I think it's definitely something that can happen with cricket. If you turned around and said, we're going to have a Pakistani, Indian, Sri Lankan team that's going to go tour to England, SA, Oz, and NZ. That would be phenomenal. And that would be awesome for them as well because they don't necessarily have this crazy amount of money around their teams. So
Cricket struggles
definitely
with funding.
Yeah, well,
It's
also really hard in other parts of the world to get the funding because you need a massive amount of people. You need really awesome attention to the pitch.
It's a lot of things.
Yeah,
it's a lot of things that bring it together to allow it to happen.
Whereas football, soccer if you want to call it that, but football, you could grab the bladder of a goat, put some hide around it, string it up with rubber bands and duct tape. There's your football. You know what I mean? It's a little bit different. It's a little bit more raw, and you can play with some kids over in Afghanistan and in the mud.
Yeah.
And it
everyone understands the concept of kicking the ball, I guess.
Yeah.
It's
That's
just,
why
it's
it's so
like
big.
a basic human instinct.
That's why it's so
cricket has
big.
struggled though with expanding just to bring more people into the game. I think because the traditional format and you've got peak cricketers that want to maintain the traditional test match, which is 5 days, which is very
awesome.
very long time. Great to watch because it's like a chess match but slow.
It's terrible
And
to
then-
watch if you don't know what's going on.
And then you've got 2020s, which is fast, but people don't like it, but are struggling to accept that that's what it is now because other people can actually follow it. But there's still not that much money coming into cricket, which makes it struggle to grow as a sport. But UFC has, it's different because it's an individual sport.
Yeah.
But I guess I draw that comparison in my mind, just how they've grown to different countries.
Do you know what's really, really cool? The Russians and a lot of like the Eastern Bloc, they've got this league. I forget what it's called, but basically it's like 3v3 UFC.
Oh my
Dude,
God.
it's nuts. It's
Do
nuts.
they do it in an alley?
No. In a massive
In a
ring.
ring, yeah.
They come in and they go crazy. It is really worth the watch. If you guys haven't seen it,
What's it called?
it's like we could find it surely, but it's 3v3 UFC.
Yeah, it's,
Russia. Just type in Russia 3v3 UFC on YouTube, you'll find it.
It's crazy. I've seen more than 3v3. I've definitely seen
there's huge ones.
There's like 7 or 8 people on each side just going at each other. It's ridiculous.
There was I think it might have been Russia versus USA, and it was like a 6v6 or 8v8.
Yeah.
And what happens is you have like, I think,
Holy shit.
double the amount of players as you have referees that are double the amount of players, and they just intervene and take people out. So for example, if we were 3 versus another 3 and I get knocked out, then it would be 2v3.
Yeah.
And so at the end you could have like a 1v3, and if you
this is what this is. This is a 3v1.
dude, it's nuts.
3v1.
This is wrestling, but real. How good is
1v1's hard
triple
enough.
Yeah.
Oh, 1v1 is, yeah.
Yeah,
1v1,
that's
if you get
more than enough.
tapped in the side of
Look
the
at
head, you
this.
get knocked
Look at
out.
this.
That's
This guy.
fucked.
It's
This
brutal.
is insane.
Yeah.
We're just watching. Holy shit.
Yeah, you gotta look.
Some guy got thrown.
Yeah, guys, you gotta go suss
Look
it
up
out.
3v3. I'm just watching on MMAfighting.com. But this is 3v1, and the one was fucking some dudes up.
Yeah, it's crazy stuff. But yeah,
That's Russia. Russia's different. They scull vodka
they're
with
built
the straight
different.
face. They are
It's
built different.
ridiculous. Anyway, I think they're like, just to summarize, these big sports, it's not a terrible idea to create these super leagues. I think it draws massive amount of money, massive amount of views. It centralizes the sport as well. We're talking multiple countries, multiple continents, all trying to get the sport going.
Yep.
It's nice to just bring it to one area.
Can it happen if the fans don't want it to happen?
No.
That's what we'll put a line in.
Because
I think they have the leverage over the.
It seems like that. Fans are essentially the customers.
Well, if
They're
you
the
just turn around
consumers.
and just stop watching,
And if they don't want it,
if you just stop watching and 2 clubs lose, 10 million each on a game, let's just say that's a lot of money to lose. I would be shitting the bed if I lost that much money just because the fans didn't want to watch,
I understand the initial uproar, but I guarantee if a league like that went ahead, at least for the first few, people are
would
gonna
watch.
watch.
Yeah. They're addicted.
People are gonna watch it. It's I don't think it's as dramatic as everyone's making it. I don't think it's as big an idea.
Yeah. Messi's a man of the people, though. Messi's a man of the people. So is I don't know if that's the case. I actually have no idea.
I'd say most of them.
Yeah,
are.
like
They-
they're very
they are.
well loved by their fans.
They are. They've got enough money. They don't need more money. And if their fans don't want them to go, are they able to exit their contract and go, to hell with this? And what happens then if players start to leave?
If the players start to leave, if the
fucked,
fans don't want to watch, I think if
Yeah.
there's enough uproar, I don't know if this will go ahead. I like the idea of it. Hopefully, it's done right in the future.
Yeah.
But I hate the hypocrisy of like FIFA and UEFA, because UEFA suggested. I think
just-
I read in 2016 they suggested or brought up a similar kind of concept that got shut down for whatever reason. But Super League's been talked about for a long time.
I think when you've just got big organizations, big companies,
Yeah.
just
Big wallets.
big wallets, but big anything. I think things become corrupted along the way, and I think that's where the issue becomes. And sometimes checks need to be made, but
Yeah, it's these FIFA, like the organizations in the city of the countries, they killed the tradition, of football when they allowed the billionaires to come in and start buying these clubs.
Well,
and
you mean
creating
national, like non-nationals. That's the difference.
Yeah, multi-billionaires just coming in and literally allowing them to buy up all of the talent, so the younger clubs or the smaller clubs didn't have even a chance. They killed the tradition of football when they did that. So I don't know why this is a bigger deal than letting every big club in the world.
We're going to have to
take
sort
that
of
route.
wait and see what happens in this one, because this is going to
really
play out really
interesting.
quickly, I think. I honestly think this will play out
Oh,
really
yeah.
quickly. We'll get an answer in the next few days, because you can't put a blanket over this sort of stuff. It just comes up, knocks you square in the teeth, and it'll be over in a moment.
Yeah.
same with
people
cancel
invested.
culture. I think it's all the same. I think
Yep.
just being held accountable as companies, as organizations, as to whether you're stepping out of line and whether it should be done by creating a separate league, and whether FIFA don't like that. But just I think big organizations as a whole should be held more accountable.
Oh,
I
definitely.
feel like a lot of them aren't as not as transparent as they should be, but more deceptive than they should be.
Yeah.
And it goes through everything from sports, including foods. I think the nutrition industry, the diet industry is horrendous.
Yeah,
Um,
shrouded by
but
misconceptions
even the
and
finance
lies
industry,
and-
there's a lot of issues.
What do you think
A
causes
lot of
that?
issues. A lot of issues.
What
There's
do
a
what
lot
do you
of
think
issues.
causes that?
Fishing
Do you think
industry.
it's people who
Greed.
just greedy?
It's greed. It stems from greed and thinking they can get away with things,
Yeah.
and they can. But right now, there's that much information. It makes it a lot harder to get away with
And
things.
we're shining. I like that you mentioned that there's a lot going on, because we're now starting to shine the light on some of these problems. We mentioned really early on in the podcast Seaspiracy.
Mm-hmm.
We wanted to touch on that again tonight, because you've
that's an
you've
example.
just
That's an
watched it
example.
as well. Like, that's an example of
That's
where
it.
we've just gone and used our greed,
Well,
swept up
not
all the fish,
us.
and
Well, yeah. I
we've
mean,
been a
I'm
part of
sure
it.
we're culpable.
We've been
I'm
a part of
sure
it.
I
I'm habitual
love salmon.
seafood.
I
So-
love salmon.
I loved
Yeah,
salmon.
it's
I
delicious.
loved salmon too, until I watched Seaspiracy.
Yeah. What did you
Just-
get out of it? Because Luke obviously felt quite passionate about it.
I don't
I
think
thought it was
Luke.
interesting.
Yeah, I didn't realize like just how much. This is probably my own ignorance, but the bullshit is leaned in, or it's everyone. It's not just the people doing the fishing. It's the organizations that are linked to those fishing companies that are the ones who are meant to be promoting, create more.
Sustainable options.
Yeah,
that sort of stuff. Yeah.
and the whole concept of sustainability and that crap. It's like they don't even know what it means. These heads of these organizations don't know what
They just go like
these
this.
words they're saying mean. They just sound good because they have their own agenda, and that kind of thing. It put me off. Like, I'll eat fish again.
Of course.
But for the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be hesitant to do it because I'm like,
Is that
I just don't want to buy into the bullshit.
Which part of Seaspiracy? Because they covered a lot of different things, and I found it almost hard to keep up at a point.
Yeah, because
Because
they
they were
were
changing-
the trail. or
Yeah,
whatever.
they kept leading you along, which it's excellent for a documentary or a movie to do, because they're progressing your thoughts, and
It was
They
they're
push
laying
you in the
things
rabbit
out.
hole.
Yeah, they're pushing you down, but they're also pushing down their agenda as well, and,
Yeah.
and you start to lead and you start to follow with their methodology and way of thinking. Is it the straws? Is it the plastic?
It's-
Is
a lot
it
of
the
it's that.
bycatch? Is it the overfishing?
Yeah.
Is it the way they're fishing?
It's
Is it the-
misdirection? I think it was the misdirection of the organizations that are meant to be the like non-profits, ones pushing you in the right direction to create sustainability, not knowing facts about what's actually in there.
Yeah, they
Or
just say, "Oh, be sustainable."
pushing the plastics, like, because this is one thing that came out, like 46% of, this is what they claimed in the documentary, 46% of the pollution or the toxic things in the ocean is fishing nets and fishing equipment. It's a dramatically small portion of that is the actual plastics, the plastic straws and all that. So, like, just the misdirection of that's our biggest issue. Just use a paper straw.
They should have used
So bycatch isn't?
Bycatch is part of it, but the one that it's just a misdirection of the other thing. Because bycatch, I always assumed there was. How can they control when they've got these massive nets?
Just big trawlers.
How can I never thought they could always be like, we'll guarantee how many things we get.
We're just getting bluefin tuna today, boys.
Yeah, it's more just the misdirection from the organisations that are meant to be the ones.
They've gone and said that
the certifications.
Yeah, they've gone and said that this is the cause, but really it's just something completely different. They don't even touch on it. I think that's where these sort of documentaries are cool because they just give you mental bubblegum to think about. They make you realise, shit, am I actually just going with the flow or am I looking a little bit deeper than what sort of seems to be there?
Yeah.
I like it because everyone becomes woke to it, and the same thing that I was just talking about, like the accountability thing, where big companies, like the ones certifying the sustainable fishing practices, should be held accountable because they don't know what they are. They don't know what the sustainable fishing practices are. But at what point is it also not a conspiracy theory, but that I feel like a lot of people that watch the Netflix documentaries, the Game Changers, Seaspiracy, are very easily pushed into their way of thinking. And which way is it? Well, the big companies do this, the higher power, the Illuminati, and then they just go into this
wormhole.
They go down a rabbit hole of being helpless. Well, fuck, this is happening to me, and
that's, I think, that's the concept of pushing the agenda too quickly. Like you said before, that rather than giving you a morsel of what is this massive meal, they're just like, all right, here's a slice of cake. They just shove it down your throat. You go, oh, holy shit. And then you're like, wow, that tasted awesome. And you keep going for more. They need to stagger that information. I think that David Attenborough is a great example where rather than having, one 17-hour film, he's got multiple 20-minute, 30-minute, 1-hour documentaries. And throughout his whole career, this dude spent so much time, but spent just staggering that information. Yeah. And I think that's how we should be like getting the education out there.
But is what people are digesting a sense of helplessness? Are they thinking, oh, well, this is happening to me?
I don't know if you can put it in this particular...
It's not Seaspiracy.
Yeah.
But is it...
Oh, that's definitely...
These companies have too much control over our lives. We are helpless. The higher power, the bigger companies are doing all this to us. There's nothing we can do.
The people who are prone to believe all the conspiracies, I think definitely would follow that, or to a large portion would follow that kind of thing.
You know why?
I think the conspiracy theory people fuck with Seaspiracy.
I think they do
on a higher level than most people.
I am not a conspiracy theory person, but it did make me think and reevaluate.
What do you think of 9/11? Who did it?
Well, I think
was the moon landing real?
Terrorists, I think it was.
What happened to XXX and Tentacion?
He got shot because he flashed his money. I believe. To
I
my knowledge.
think that's true, yeah.
So I'm not prone to a conspiracy at all. That's why I'm like, it's...
Do you have your own... Let's just tangent here. Do you have your own little conspiracy theory? No?
Any conspiracy theory, I automatically, for whatever reason, I'm like, that's probably not right. It's probably not the conspiracy. It's probably... Like, there were real conspiracies back in the day where journalists would go and uncover them, but a lot of these ones running around at the moment is bullshit. And I think Netflix is turning into, like, our short attention span investigative journalists are these documentaries. It's just condensed into an hour and a half, and that's all we have.
Rather than having, like, as I said with David, having like 17 hours worth of content to consume.
Which is definitely, like, better. You got more, like, in terms of...
Well, you can...
Less is more.
Less is more in terms of getting your message out quickly, but keeping it in people's heads, I think the 17-hour spread out over multiple documentaries... is probably a more effective long-term way to go.
Yeah.
It just makes me think, Netflix, are they kind of taken over that role of...
They're 60 minutes.
They're 60 minutes?
No. I think Netflix are doing a good job.
Star of Netflix.
I think Netflix are doing a good job because there is a balance on Netflix.
Everything.
Not on the same topics, but I don't think they can be seen to be pushing one opinion.
Yeah.
But they are forward-thinking in the way they present things. And I guess... a lot of it isn't Netflix made, but they're the ones buying it, they're the ones producing it, they're the ones pushing it out to the masses.
The problem is that, that algorithm
Yes.
that algorithm will push you
Fucking
down the
algorithm.
rabbit hole.
To whatever
The
you already
algorithm.
believe, just
Yeah,
pushes
and
you,
so
push you. Confirmation
all
bias.
you're doing is literally, as you said, confirmation bias. You're just saying to yourself, yep, you're 100% correct because everything you've seen online, everything you've searched. If you go on Google now and you typed in, water conspiracy, anything
There'll be
that
something.
anything
There'll
that
be
you've
something.
previously
There'll be
seen
lots.
is going to come up.
The
And
fluoride.
if you
Oh,
kept
yeah.
looking up water conspiracy based searches for the next 6 months, you're just going to. That's all you're going to see.
Anything conspiracy.
Yeah.
It's just
The algorithm.
That's what I mean. It's like,
yeah.
it's maybe not so balanced because of that algorithm.
That's the problem.
Like,
isn't
I
it?
look at the films that I see in comparison to the films that are suggested for my partner, completely different.
Yeah.
I see, like, The Equalizer 1 and 2. I see King Kong, like, the original. I see Tropical Thunder. I see all of these, like, Fast and Furious. My partner sees, like, Downtown Abbey and... Princess and the Frog on Disney. Like, there's massive difference in terms of what you see because
one of the conspiracies we talked about today was Frozen. Apparently, Walter Disney, the owner of Disney, wanted to be frozen when he died, so that at a later point in time, when technology improves, he can respawn and keep living his life.
Very nice.
Apparently,
GG, dude.
good. Apparently, he was, or the theory is, he might have been frozen in the Disney Palace in Orlando, Florida.
Yeah, sure.
Is Frozen the movie? Was that created as a way to redirect attention and search results from people looking up about him being frozen in Disney Palace?
Oh my god!
I think it's 100% the case. Like, there's no doubt in my mind.
That's
It's
why.
just-
That's why.
You put a compelling.
That's why
argument.
his great grandchild made a movie called Frozen.
And who do you go after? You target the children because they'll keep the idea in their heads and they'll find the cure. Oh,
This is incredible.
it's genious.
Yeah, we're going down a rabbit hole ourselves.
In the comments, let us know if you have any conspiracy theories you think we should check out.
And we're going to ignore it because no.
Unless we agree with it 100%,
Yeah.
we will ignore
But
it.
I had a shower thought because we spoke about Elon Musk the other day. We spoke about how he's so forward thinking.
Yeah, he is. I think he is.
Like, my shower thought is completely irrational, zero basis. But a lot of the tweets he's saying, we just go along with. It's something that's like thought of to be impossible, and he says something.
Like, he says Bitcoin, and then we all just go nuts.
Yeah, that, but like he says some like crazy shit like Neuralink and like controlling people, monkeys, and all this sort of stuff. And we've never thought about that. It's genius. But like,
Are we actually being analytical
is there
about
a point? Yeah, we're not. Are we being analytical about it? But is there a point we watch the documentary on Fire Festival and we look back and we go, Billy McFarlane, Jarul, it's so obvious that was a fraud. Is there a point where we'll look back on Elon Musk's tweets in 5-10 years and go,
He was an alien.
hang on, he was talking about putting chips in monkeys? Like, is
He
there
wants
a
chips
point?
in humans.
Hey,
He wants chips in, but he's talking about them now.
Yeah.
But is there a point where we go, how the fuck did we not realize this guy's just talking shit?
But dude, hindsight's always 20/20. You'll
It is.
always look back on a scenario
It's just
and go,
funny to entertain that, because we put Elon Musk in this
Pedestal,
prestigious pedestal in our mind. And what if he's just full of shit? He's just the greatest salesman, but he can barely speak, but the greatest salesman.
gets on stage.
Yeah, he's stuttering and looking at the sky. Like, the dude's tripping. But
Gee, he makes a smooth car though.
He's
anyway.
anyway, 0 to 100 very quickly.
No, I don't know. I think it'd be good to
It's
look
Something
back on.
very bad would have to happen, I think, for us to start to change our minds on him. Like Tesla's, the all-wheel driving would have to just start crashing into
No,
each
he
other.
gets to
One
Mars.
just
He's like,
crashed,
"Fuck you
but
guys. We're like starting a new species."
Very
and he just,
possibly. He'll probably prove me wrong. He's done it to
Yeah.
a lot of people already, but I just thought it was an entertaining idea.
yeah, why not?
But that's it. Episode 5 is wrapped up. We are moving very quickly towards 8 episodes, and I think it's exciting.
It's good.
I think it's exciting.
Big shout out to you guys
Absolutely
who keep
great.
watching week in,
Yeah.
week out, episode in, episode out.
That's it. Yeah. Thanks,
Rolling
guys,
with
for
us.
listening. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, hit that bell notification.
Hit the
Tap
bell.
that bell. Hit the bell.
Give us some comments.
What do they do? They hit the bell. Hit the bell.
Hit the
I
bell.
click it, but that's just me.
Hit the bell.
Punch
Anyway,
the hole in your monitor.
thanks, guys.
you
Good
guys.
night.
Ciao.